have to come together, celebrate and make it a wonderful day. We have to be loud and proud of our country. Let us celebrate another year together on this Democracy Day. About 160 million children still engage in child labor, some as young as 5 years old. This year's World Day Against Child Labor calls for increased investment schemes to establish solid protection for children against child labor. Happy Democracy Day. Good evening and welcome. I am Achibombasi. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) governorship standard bearer, Senator Sandy Ono, has appealed to the people of the state to actively participate in the ongoing voter registration exercise by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), as the PVC is the only weapon to fight bad government. Senator Ono, who stated this during a post-primary election press conference at the Ernest Etumbasi Press Center, says the appeal became imperative if the state must be reclaimed from a government who do not have value for the lives of our citizenry.
We are very close to our El Dorado. Darkness will soon give way to light, and our people will smile again.
The People's Democratic Party governorship standard bearer laments that even when the debt profile of the state as at March this year stands at $279 million, the state government was making moves to borrow another 35 billion naira few months to the end of its administration. He therefore called on financial institutions within and outside Nigeria to refrain from granting loan to the state government, as they will be doing so at a very high risk.
Yet the outgoing government is thinking of conniving with the State House of Assembly to borrow this whopping sum just to put the final nail on the coffin before they leave the stage.
Senator Sandy Ono describes as laughable plans by the state government to conduct local government councils election few days to when he will be handing over power to the next administration, stating that members of the Cross River Independent Electoral Commission (CROSIEC) announced by the state governor are products of illegalities.
In the eyes of the law, there is no House of Assembly in Cross River State, and anything that carries the imprimatur of this assembly is null and void ab initio.
While describing as a humbling experience the receipt of his certificate of return as the governorship candidate of the PDP, Senator Ono says he is dedicating the certificate to God, all PDP leaders in and outside the state, and all members of the party from the 3 senatorial districts of Cross River State. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News. President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday assures Nigerians that he would ensure a free, fair and transparent electoral process in the next year's general election. The president called on political parties, candidates and the electorate to not regard the elections as a do-or-die affair, adding that democracy is about the will of the majority and therefore there must be winners and losers. President Buhari therefore urged politicians and their followers to conduct the campaign with a high sense of maturity and dignity, the type he said had been sustained throughout the various parties' primaries. Be a way to honor the memory of the acclaimed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, late MKO Abiola. The president made the remarks in his 2022 Democracy Day speech. Speaking in a television broadcast, President Buhari expressed his satisfaction with the political parties ahead of next year's general elections, saying the primaries had set the tone for peaceful polls next year. This Democracy Day speech is his last as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as it promises to protect Nigeria and Nigerians from all enemies from within and outside. Just like yesterday, 23 years have passed, depicting the edge of Nigeria's democracy, and for many, it is no mean feat. But do Nigerians have any reason to celebrate Democracy Day? Its mood in this report reflects on the mood of the people and impression of Nigerians resident in Uyo as another Democracy Day comes full cycle.
When on 29th May 1999, the military administration of General Abdul Salami Abubakar disengaged from military rule for the succeeding administration of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, it may have been like a feel of a breath of fresh air for a country that had been under the clutches of military rulership. From 29th May to June 12, as a new date, the day is primarily to honor a symbol of democracy in Nigeria, Chief MKO Abiola, just as Nigerians express mixed feelings on Nigeria's 2022 Democracy Day.
We have reasons to remind ourselves that we are running a democracy because each year that passes we are lucky to still hold on to democracy as a form of governance.
I want to say that democracy has come to stay since 1999 and now it has been steadily growing gradually.
We must be grateful to God who has given us democracy in Nigeria. It is better to have democracy than to have military regime.
Many Nigerians have, however, identified various wobbly legs of the table of Nigeria's democracy that must be climbed as the ship sails ahead. Hence, a call on the political class to change its priority when serving the people.
Area that we should really focus on is the economy of the country. You agree with me that there is hardship in the land.
Insecurity everywhere, hunger everywhere, poverty, people are lacking.
As Nigeria marks this year's Democracy Day, the challenge is therefore to ensure that the steam and flame of the light of good governance is kept aglow until succeeding generations beckon to take over. In Uyo, Imo Etimodo, NTA News.
Sunday Special continues shortly. Stay with us. Good to have you back. One attribute that stood the 9th National Assembly out is its pursuit of stability in governance. This is achieved through collaboration and cooperation with other arms of government. Ignatius Nko takes a look at the Senate in the last 3 years.
The return of Nigeria's annual budget to January-December cycle, amendment of the Deep Offshore Bill, Electoral Act Amendment Bill, and the passage of the finance bills are some of the major achievements of the 9th Senate in the last 3 years. These were not coincidence. They were products of decisive decision. It all started on the 11th of June 2019 when the 9th Senate took off on its legislative voyage. First, with a number of hurdles, the 9th Senate took a resolution embedded in its legislative agenda. There were areas yearning for reforms, prominent among them changes in budget process, passage of critical bills, conclusive investigative process, and most importantly, the reconstruction of legislative-executive relationship were conspicuously on the radar. Within months, the legislative chamber in unison had redesigned its relationship with the executive, giving way for more cordiality as it confirmed more than 70 presidential appointments.
All we try to do is to bring about good governance. All we try to achieve is to make life meaningful for Nigerians. That's why we're here.
Nigerians began to witness unhindered and prompt production of laws and parliamentary resolutions. President Muhammadu Buhari assented to more than 18 of the 131 bills passed by the Senate, including major economic bills, the Deep Offshore Amendment Bill, which expanded Nigeria's oil revenue, Finance Bill 2019 that restructured Nigeria's tax base and removed agricultural and pharmaceuticals from taxation, and the Public Procurement Act Amendment bills aimed at reducing delay in the process.
Our calendar year has been originally that way, and there's need for us to, finish up a year and start off afresh.
11 June 2021 marks the second year of the 9th Senate, a year of pandemic. Parliamentary resolutions were characterized by COVID-19 sensitivity. This led to the reconsideration of the 2020 budget and approval of 500 billion naira for the fight against the pandemic. The Senate, at the time, had to call off its recess to give immediate attention to COVID-19 interventions.
This country had only 2 laboratories that can test COVID-19. As we speak now, based on legislation that we made through appropriation, we have public sector more than 100 laboratories.
And that 500 billion have done so much in terms of providing palliatives for the poor.
The second year of the 9th Senate saw the passage of 58 out of the 745 bills introduced, including the confirmation of 60 presidential appointments. This includes that of the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the new service chiefs. Between June 2021 to June 2022, senators passed more critical bills and more than 30 motions, with most of them centered on national security. The Petroleum Industry Bill, which at the time was the oldest bill in the National Assembly, and the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which has provided a new face for Nigeria's electoral system. Out of the 976 bills introduced, more than 26 were sponsored by the executive.
This is one of the products of the executive and the legislature working together.
From 2019 to date, Senate has intervened on a number of labor-related issues, including that between the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the federal government. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Every June 12 is International Day Against Child Labor. The theme of this year is Universal Social Protection to End Child Labor, the success which the International Labour Organization says is at the crossroads depending on choices made by governments. The International Labour Organization is using the occasion of the International Labour Congress in Geneva, Switzerland, to call for increased social protection as the most powerful measure to protect child labour, to prevent child labour, providing families with income security in difficult times. Emmanuel Ayimiro was there.
Current studies by the International Labour Organization reveal that despite significant progress made in certain regions, global progress is stalled due to the impact of COVID-19, putting millions of children between ages 5 to 11 at risk of poverty, rising inequality, and school closure.
And without decisive countermeasures taken by governments, the number of children in child labour could rise by almost 9 million to 169 million this year.
The consensus among some ILO constituents and partners is the development of protection systems and schemes to protect vulnerable children from child labour.
Social protection expansion results in reduction in child labor. This can be through cash transfers, it can be through school feeding programs.
A parent that doesn't have his social security to back him up definitely will not be able to take proper care of the child, and this definitely will lead to the child trying to find a way to become an income generator for the family.
With the shortage of social security cover, it also put a lot of people in jeopardy, particularly even the workers, where in some cases pension is not being paid as when due, gratuity is not being paid as when due.
The conference noted that universal social protection is particularly powerful when coverage stretches across the life cycle, from child maternity and family benefits to unemployment support, old age pensions, and healthcare. From Geneva, Switzerland, Emmanuel Ayemiru, NTA News.
Towards actualizing and sustaining a prosperous future, the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers has officially inaugurated its Calabar chapter with investiture of the first chairman, Mr. Edward Akpan, to man the affairs of the association. The occasion took place at the Calabar Engineering Center Parliamentary Extension with the theme National Data Warehousing for an Effective and Economic Governance in Nigeria. Eric Ivy reports.
Fair for me by the Governing Council, the Board of Trustees, and the National Institute of the East, I hereby install you as the Paudia Chairman of Calabar Chapter.
In order to improve and build equitable synergy with other departments of engineering, a special lecture was delivered on the topic Database Storage and Data Warehouse to equip members of the Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers on current knowledge and information.
I'm just really happy because all is not by my power. You understand? It's by God doing. I'm just feeling great. I'm happy.
Yeah, because engineering is mainly for the men, but we the women, because God created us equally, so we have to compete with the men. That's why most women that are there are the great ones.
You have to forget about gender. Do the best you can.
In his investiture as the first chairman of Calabar chapter, Mr. Edward Akpan promised uncompromising commitment to keep the flag of the association flying to benefit future generations.
So my mission will be to bring them first together as a team and to focus on the vision and mission of the Institute.
It's a great joy. So with all privilege, with all sense of responsibility, we can delegate assignments, knowing that these are people who have been given some level of authority.
Practicing engineering is very, very easy in Cross River State. Actually,
the national chairman of the association, Akan Michael, charged members to build capacity through self-training for sustainable development.
Much should be done. Government is not to put up companies or factories, but they can create enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
There were goodwill messages, inauguration of the newly sworn-in ESCO, as well as presentation of distinguished awards to deserving fellows. Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers is saddled with the core mandate of converting mathematical science and technological knowledge for better humanity. In Calabar, Erika Evie, NTA News.
Nigerians have been advised not to throw away their seeds, but plant them for food sufficiency and economic prosperity. The advice was given by stakeholders at the maiden edition of Food Fair organized by the National Council for Women Societies, Bayelsa State. Aya Prezi reports that the fair featured display of varieties of local cuisines from the 8 local government areas of the state.
Local farming for food sufficiency and self-sustenance was the theme of the food fair, which underscores the place of agriculture in ensuring stomach infrastructure and economic prosperity. Organizers of the fair urged Nigerians to imbibe the right attitude towards farming and spare the home front from hunger and illnesses associated with poor feeding.
Imagine that every time you had a child, you planted 5 mango trees. You will not look for school fees.
Oil production is dwindling now, so let's go back to agriculture. Let's produce food for self-sufficiency.
And then also teach our children how to cook, because food is life.
For us to live healthy, we need to eat natural foods.
We know that we have very good food in Bayelsa State, and that with our food, we can be well nourished. Our children will not be malnourished.
Beyond the food fair, which attracted display of the rich varieties of local delicacies from across the state, stakeholders look forward to promoting the commercial potential of Bayelsa cuisines, which are judged high in nutritional value.
We actually want to display the Bayelsa cuisine, let the world know that we have delicacies here that can attract any other person to come to Bayelsa.
High point of the event was display of different local delicacies by the 8 local government areas of the state, where Ogbia local government came first, followed by Kirimo, while Brass and Kulukmo-Pukma took 3rd and 4th positions respectively, leaving the 5th place to the other 4 local government areas. In Yenagoa, Aya, Brazil, NT News.
And that is the size of the package for tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do have a blessed week ahead.